It's the final leg of a three-city road trip. Final roadie of 2018, destination Marlins Park, Miami. First of four, Reds and Marlins, and it's coming up on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi again, everyone, with Chris Wells, Jim Day. Thanks for hanging out with us here for Reds baseball. And Chris, you know, this Reds team struggling in the standings, but looking for anything to build on. And on the personal front, these players trying to momentum themselves, if you will, into 2019. And one of those guys, Cody Reed, his last start, something to build on.
It's been a good story for Cody Reed, really, since they brought him back up. He was first place in the bullpen, then he comes into the starting rotation because he pitched very well out of the bullpen. And lo and behold, he's getting better and better every time out. No better than he was last time when he pitched 5 shutout innings against the Cubs in front of a full house there at Wrigley Field. That slider that you see right there, that was working like a gem. He had 10 strikeouts overall. 8 of those came on the slider, and you expect to see him to showcase that pitch again tonight.
Those 10 strikeouts, a new career high. The Reds will get a youngster tonight, at least a guy trying to find his way in Major League Baseball, making only his third start in the bigs. That would be Jeff Brigham.
Kind of old for a youngster, but yes, I mean, here's a guy that never pitched above A ball before this year. Came into camp as a non-roster player, wasn't even in their media guide, but he's got an 0-2 record. At one time in the minor leagues, he was one of the hardest throwers the Marlins had in their farm system. They haven't seen that here now, but what they have seen is a little better control than he had featured early in his minor league career, and we'll see what he has. Fastball, slider, changeup, kind of the garden variety right-hander.
You might need a program to figure out the entire lineup for the Marlins, but one mainstay is JT Realmuto, one of the best all-around catchers in the game.
He was the one guy. Well, the Marlins were on a trading spree, sending away just seemingly every good player they had on the roster. He may have been the most asked about player on this team. Everybody wanted Realmuto. He's a great catcher behind the plate. He provides you some power. He's a good leader as well, and he's one guy I think that they're going to try to build this franchise around.
On that individual front, September, a very important month as players try to build towards 2019, as we said. We're talking about that important month next. Jeff McCorrell standing by. Reds and Marlins coming up.
Award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealers. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Well, the game storyline is presented by Elk & Elk, the season series, the history breakdown. Since 2006, the Reds won or tied all 9 of the series between 06 and 14. They were 6-0-3. But the Marlins have really taken it to the Reds of late. They've won the last 3 season series, and they won the first series back in May, the 4th, 5th, and 6th. 2-1, so the Reds have some making up to do. What you heard Jim Day say, it is September, and that's a time that the coaches, manager, the front office really take a closer look at some of the players. Cody Reed coming off a fantastic Saturday start in Chicago, 5 innings and 10 strikeouts. He hopes to build on that the rest of the season.
Hopefully build myself, a little foundation going into spring, and trying to, compete for a job there too, because, it's always competition. There's so many guys we have that are, I think, that are really, really good. Lorenzo getting the start last night, that was huge for him. He's been wanting that for a long time, and it's just going to be competition no matter what, and I'm ready for the competition for sure.
This might be something you probably think more about in the offseason, but final question for you is, you've got a taste of the bullpen. Obviously, you like starting. As you go into the offseason, as you get ready for next year in spring training, in your mind, are you a starter, you a reliever, or are you just a pitcher?
Like you said, I've been able to be versatile, and be able to do both. And hopefully these last couple starts, like I said, will build me a little bit of a foundation to go into for a starting spot, But if I'm in the big leagues, I really don't care. I can be a left-handed guy. I could, coming out of the pen, I could be a guy, getting the ball every 5 days. As long as I'm pitching in the big leagues, I don't think it really matters to me.
Well, that is a young man who appreciates putting on a major league uniform every single day of the year. And as he said, he doesn't care if he starts or relieves as long as he's in the major leagues. Well, 4 games left on the road. It starts tonight here in Miami, and the Reds looking for some payback. The game is next.
On deck here from Marlins Park. Cody Reed will get the start here tonight. Reds will bat first, and they're all grays after yesterday wearing their red tops and gray pants on the road, which we haven't seen often. And here's how Jim Riggleman will line them up here tonight. Scott Schebler will lead off. Peraza in the 2 spot. 3, 4, and 5. Votto, Jeanette, and Suarez. Mason Williams gets the start in left field. Tucker Barnhart hanging the signs. Cody Reed, the pitcher spot, is number 8. Billy Hamilton will bat 9th and play center field. Third big league start, Jeff Brigham to face the Reds.
Well, a young right-hander who's 26 years old. He turned 26 in June, make it January of this year, but he's a guy that really had never pitched above A ball before this season. He's been beset by some injuries. He missed some months early in the year with a shoulder/oblique problem. And Brigham is a guy that at one time was a very hard thrower, but he never really knew where the ball was going. The control got a lot better this year. He dominated at Double-A, did a very good job at Triple-A, and here he is pitching in the rotation for the Marlins in September.
Schebler, the left-hand batter's box, were set for action, and the first pitch is a called strike from home plate umpire Corey Blazer. We are underway. Roof closed here at Marlins Park on a hot, humid afternoon per usual here in South Florida. 1 ball and a strike to Scott Schebler. Big ballpark, big dimensions in the outfield. And here comes the 1-1 to Schebler. Swing and a miss.
Nothing really fancy about the Marlins pitcher tonight, except the fact that he's got to be very fired up. He was extremely juiced up the first time he got the ball. He was a little bit nervous out there, a little bit better last time. Did not get the win in either of those ball games. There's the slider. He'll also feature a changeup, but not very often.
Count even up at 2-2. Brigham was a guy that came to the Marlins in 2015 from the Dodgers, a trade that involved former Red Matt Latos. 2-2, got him. So Brigham off to a good start.
Well, he's off to a good start. You know what Scott Schebler does with 2 strikes? He really crouches down like that. The problem with that is that when you get a high fastball, your head is on the way up while you're trying to swing. And it's very tough to get on top of that ball because you're moving up. Even if it's very slightly like he was right there and goes down, all 3 fastballs he saw did not make contact.
First pitch to Peraza is down low. Peraza checks in at 290 overall, 13 home runs, 56 RBIs. And continues to impress offensively. He's the only player in the major leagues with at least 174 hits, 31 doubles, 13 home runs, and 23 stolen bases. (2-0) into right field. Room out there for Galloway. 2 outs. And here's your 4 defensive lineup for the Marlins. Around the outfield, Dean, Brinson, and Galloway. Infield of Rojas, Riddle, Starlin Castro, the former Cub and Yankee. Peter O'Brien at first base. JT Realmuto behind the plate. Here's Votto. Comes in riding a streak of 18 games in which he's reached safely. Average of 288. 12 home runs, 67 RBIs, continues to lead the National League in on-base percentage. 0-1, a check swing and a called strike. Corey Blazer behind home plate. Stu Sherwater at first base. Crew chief Gary Cederstrom umpiring second. Ben May at third. Votto will choke up a little more. The 0-2 count. And excuse me, a little slap foul. Saw that approach a few times in Milwaukee and was able to get a couple of base hits out of it. As Milwaukee continued to shift Votto on the infield to the full side, the Marlins about as straight up as you will see defensively against Votto. Outfield, though, playing him as an opposite field hitter. One-two. Swing and a miss. 3 up, 3 down for Jeff Brigham. Marlins coming up. Cody Reed goes to the hill. And here's how he'll line them up. Miguel Rojas will lead off. He'll be at third base. Starling Castro, the second baseman. Three batters, JT Realmuto. O'Brien at first base. Austin Dean in left. Lewis Brenson, the center fielder. Isaac Galloway in right. JT Riddle, the 8th batter. And the 9 batter is the pitcher, Jeff Brigham. 25-year-old Cody Reed in his 3rd major league season will make his 6th start of 2018.
You know, patience beginning to pay off for the Reds and Cody Reed. You know, the expectations for Reed were very high when he first came over in a trade that included Johnny Cueto. And like a lot of young left-handers, he came out here and tried to show to everybody how fast he could throw the ball, and it just didn't work. So this time around, it's a little bit more patience for Reed as far as his stuff and just trying to throw the ball over the plate a little bit more. He's got good action on the fastball, as you see right there. He's got a nice changeup. Struck out Chris Bryant 3 times his last time out against the Cubs, and a couple of those came on changeups. Also has a nice slider going.
He was telling me about how he was living and dying, and living mostly against the Cubs on that backdoor breaking ball. And just like that lineup in Chicago, he's facing mostly right-hand hitters.
Well, he likes the sliders, you see right there. I mean, anytime you're throwing more sliders or breaking pitchers than you are fastballs, I mean, you're kind of going against the grain, but you know, at this point in baseball, it really doesn't matter. You're in the major leagues. It doesn't matter how hard you throw now. It doesn't matter how often you throw your fastball. The only thing that matters is the runs you allow on the board. So however you need to get it done.
He will face all righties except the 8th batter, JT Riddle, will bat for the left-hand side. 2-2 to Rojas, and we'll do it again.
You know, you can sneak up on certain teams like probably Reed did against the Cubs by throwing so many of those backdoor sliders. But you know, teams now are studying everything. They're studying stat sheets. They're studying printouts of your analysis of your stuff. And they're also picking apart your video. So there aren't any secrets anymore. If he wants to go backdoor with that slider, he's got to really be a good placement pitcher here tonight.
Two again. Hard hit into center field, base hit. So the leadoff man aboard for the Marlins. There's your 4 defensive lineup for the Reds. Mason Williams will be patrolling left field tonight. Big outfield for Billy Hamilton to cover. Scott Schebler in right. And infield left to right of Suarez, Barraza, Jeanette, and Votto and Barnhart behind the plate. Large dimensions here, 344 down the left field line. 407 I should say, in dead center field. It takes a poke to hit it out of this yard. And these are the type of outfields that Billy Hamilton loves to play in. He can really show off that speed defensively. Always smiling, always laughing. The 1 to Castro. Strike called.
The former Cub and the former New York Yankee did not like that first pitch, but he's having a really fine year. 281 average, 12 home runs. 4-time All-Star.
And with Realmuto, one of the few bigger names left, as he goes down on strikes. 1 out in the inning.
Good morning, good afternoon, and here's my slider for good night.
And here's Realmuto. 282 batter, his 21 home runs, a new career high. 72 RBIs, a new career high. Lots of attention centered around Realmuto, not only in the offseason, but at the trade deadline. Terrific all-around catcher.
Well, he won't be a free agent until 2021. So when you have a solid catcher, you know, as your foundation, why do you have the need to try to move him?
Backhander by Peraza. What a play. Not in time to get Realmuto at first base, but they cut down Rojas at second. Pretty play by Peraza going to his right.
Very quick infield here. This ball hit very sharply, and Peraza gets a nice jump, gets his glove down, and sets himself to make sure he throws a good peg there to Jeanette.
For whatever reason, at this point in his career, Peraza goes better to his right defensively than his left. Most of his outstanding plays have been to the right, deep in the hole. First pitch swinging is Peter O'Brien, and that's a base hit. On his way to third base is Real Muto. Throw down, offline. It would have been a really close play had Hamilton delivered it on line, but Real Muto reaches. It's first and third, 2 outs.
Well, what a terrific throw, though, by Billy Hamilton right here. This ball was hit very sharply. I was really surprised to see Real Muto go, but Hamilton couldn't have got rid of it any quicker. Just a little bit in the outfield side of third base, or else he nails him at third.
I was surprised as well that Real Muto would try Hamilton, because at this point in Hamilton's career, the scouting report is out there. He's got a terrific throwing arm, even though he's slight in build. All right, we'll see if Reed can get out of this 2-out jam. Austin Dean at the plate. .211 batter, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. 4th round selection back in 2012. Marlins. A day to remember. Back on August 17th at Washington, became the 11th Marlins player to homer, and for his first MLB hit. Grounded to Peraza. He'll go the short way to second, and Reed strands 2. We've played 1, scoreless in Miami.
Decided, you know what, we're going to Miami, so let's get in the spirit. So this is Cody Reed, Mason Williams, Tucker Barnhart, wearing their best Miami Vice gear. Here's Amir Garrett. That's a great look in his swimsuit there. And also, Dwayne Wade made the trip with the Reds on the right. That's Sal Romano. Had a lot of fun with this, guys, all night yesterday as they got on the buses. The plane got off and came in, and they even had a captain. David Hernandez is the new captain in town. It was a lot of fun. Even Ricky got into it. Ricky Stowe even dressed up for the event. It was a lot of fun, guys.
Well, David Hernandez, his nickname is the captain, so why not dress up? How about Hamilton? Looking clean, Billy. Looking clean. Check out matching shirts. Got to have the buttons undone. Looking good. Little change up. It's usually the rookies that dress up day, but Major League Baseball's kind of throwing that by the wayside. The whole team decided let's do it together.
There are a lot of teams actually throughout the course of the season will have different themed trips. I know that Clint Hurdle with the Pirates is famous for that. So of course is Joe Madden, where, you know, on one particular flight they may all wear pajamas.
Yeah.
So the Reds finally getting into the swing of things here on the way down to the South Beach, Dade County.
Now there were a couple of rookies that were in shark uniform, or shark costumes, which was
now
extremely creative.
I understand the time that the ball club got in was about the time that you would normally get back to the hotel if you spent the evening at South Beach.
Yeah. Well, I think some of those places in South Beach we probably could have made last call.
Yeah.
Got in. Oh, there is no last call, I'm told. I'm not hip enough to know the hours of South Beach bars. Got in a little bit before 3 a.m. Landed.
Let me know tomorrow.
Leadoff walk to Scooter Jeanette. Now, Jared Hughes, you know, leave it to Hughes to. We've shown you his quirks, if you will, as a person. Well, he decided to take it a different route. It was a Miami theme, but he went with the Miami Redhawks, which is kind of a curveball for a pitcher.
Well, he pitches like a left-hander anyway.
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
you know.
Kind of has a lot of quirks and acts kind of like a left-hander. I'm not going to throw any left-handers under the bus or anything, but
Works for him.
works for you. Batter is Suarez with the runner on first base. By the way, the broadcasters did not dress up. However, if it would have made me, I would have gone with the leisure suit and dressed up as Marty Brennan a la 1976.
Have a lot of petroleum in your pants. Sansa belts. You think he has a few of those Sansa belts still hanging
Somewhere,
around on the rack?
because he says that he keeps everything. So I'm sure there's a closet somewhere with some leisure suits, silk shirts, and a big old belt buckle, and bell bottoms, and
a trunk full of hair dryers.
and probably some shoes with some large heels and a zipper on the side. Nonetheless, it was fun. One out. Here's Mason Williams. First pitch swinging out of play.
The Reds are beginning to get the idea here with Brigham that he's going to bring the fastball early in the count. So they're up there hacking early on.
Williams, a .294 batter overall, but his last 23 appearances, .327 batter. Appearing in his 44th game for the Reds. And a pretty nice piece off the bench, Mason Williams. He brings a left-handed bat to the plate. He can play all three outfield positions, including a solid center field. Had a great catch in Milwaukee.
Well, project him going forward, and that's probably where he falls in, which would be a player off the bench, left-handed hitter. Of course, when Jesse Winker is recovered and back at full strength next year, they hope to have him back, obviously, by the time spring training rolls around. And he'll reclaim his spot more than likely. And of course, the wild card is that the Reds recently have announced that they're going to try Nick Senzel in left field.
In the instructional league, start him out in left and see how he does there, and maybe even get him some time in center field. Pretty good athlete, Senzel, from what we saw in the spring. You got to think he's going to be able to handle it.
Oh, yeah.
He's just, I hate to use that phrase, but he's a ball player. It's what they say, a ball player. You can put him about anywhere. Probably not look out of place. Second walk in the inning. Second walk in 3 batters given up by Jeff Brigham. Time now for the Lowe's whole team together, focusing on Marlins pitchers. And since July 28th here at Marlins Park, pretty good. I'd say very good. 2.96 ERA, and their bullpen at 3.28. and that 3.09 overall ERA, fourth lowest in the National League. So they are looking for things to build on as well. Barnhart, a mile high in the right center field, and tagging up, nope, bluffing the tag at second base is Jeanette. Boy, would have made it throw offline from Galloway, but 2 outs in the inning. And that'll bring up Cody Reed, who is still seeking his first big league hit. Oh for 8 this season, 0 for 21 overall. This will be a good time to break out.
Well, they're bringing the outfield way in against Reed to protect maybe against a little blooper.
Reed bats him as he throws him.
First pitch breaking ball.
Yeah, no longer do you get that steady diet of fastballs.
Well, I mean, blew Joey Votto away on 3 fastballs. Got the report about Reed, though.
Yeah.
This is where, if I'm Jim Riggleman, I'm making him take a strike right here. I mean, he's walked 2 batters, Brigham has, in this inning, and you know, no reason to let him swing up there at a marginal pitch until he has to.
Fastball at 92 in for a strike. 2 balls and a strike to Cody Reed. Jeanette on second, Williams on first. Reds trying to dent the scoreboard. Two and 2. In and out of the glove of Real Muto, and Reed has new life. Swing and a miss. 2 walks, 2 men left on. Middle of the second. 0-0 game.
Last night, the Indians down 1-0 in the 9th inning. Jason Kipnis the walk-off grand slam, and the Indians win. And to top it off, it was his 1,000th career hit. Congratulations to Kipnis and the Indians. He sends them all home happy with that win. And everybody gets wet after the game. That's what I like to see. Time now for MLB News and Notes. 9 walk-off grand slams this season. That's the most in a single season in MLB history. And the Dodgers are the first National League team to have 7 players with 20 or more home runs in a season. It's been done 6 times in the American League, but remember, they have the DH, so a little bit of an advantage there, gentlemen.
Big thank you very much. Cody Reed goes to work in inning number 2 in a scoreless game. Pitch, swing, and a miss by Lewis Brinson. So how about Jason Kipnis? His first major league hit was a home run. Williams has a beat on it, got a good jump, and retires Brinson for out number 1. Kipnis' first major league hit was a home run. His 1,000th hit, a walk-off home run. Bookend action. And the batter will be Isaac Galloway. Galloway, an 8th round selection back in 2008. You're going to see this Marlins franchise, which is in complete transition mode after Bruce Sherman took over as the 4th principal owner of the Marlins in October of last year. And the chief executive officer, some guy named Derek Jeter, overseeing the club's day-to-day operations.
Who just said today, by the way, that people were asking Jeter because he came to the ballpark today. He's not always here, but he came today, had a number of people with him, and answered some reporters' questions about the future of Don Mattingly. And he said, hey, Mattingly will be back next year. He's under contract for 2019, and we expect him to be back.
And there's Jeter. When he was holding court, I want to tell you what, it was as if it was New York. There were so many cameras around him. He's used to that.
Interesting, because Jeter and Mattingly crossed paths, of course, in Jeter's rookie year. It was Don Mattingly's last year. So Donnie Baseball gave way to the captain. And now it's the other way around. Jeter's the boss.
The boss.
There's a New York connection for you, right?
I was going to say.
Slip that one right in there on you.
No, you didn't slip that by me. When he hears the boss, he probably
shivers a little bit.
Shivers just a little bit. But they have made it known that they want to build from within. They want to load up on young players in the minor leagues. Traded away big name players. We just saw Christian Yelich in Milwaukee blistered the Reds.
Some of the players that they've traded away recently have really done a great job for their respective teams.
Yeah.
Marcell Ozuna in St. Louis has really come on strong since the All-Star break. Have helped that offense tremendously. And of course, Yelich leading the league right now ahead of Scooter Gennett in the batting average race.
Reed makes a nice play. And a 1-2-3 second. We've played 2 in Miami, no score. $25.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this limited offer. Top of the third in Miami. Scoreless game. Jeff Brigham will get 9, 1, and 2 in the Reds order. Billy Hamilton will step in, trying to snap an 0 for 14 skid. And home plate umpire Corey Blazer is going to call timeout and motion up to the game ops people. We're ready for play. Stop the music. Music stopped. Someone was asleep at the switch over there.
Miami sound machine.
It was. 1-0. Two and 1 to Billy Hamilton. The final 9 games of 2018. It's a 4-game set here in Miami. And for whatever reason, there's 2 team off days in the final week of the season. Go figure. Final homestand, the Royals will come to Cincinnati, as well as the Pittsburgh Pirates to close out.
If there weren't off days in that final week, the season would end on a Friday.
Yeah. And a walk to Hamilton, just the guy you don't want to walk.
Yeah, you know, it just seems like Brigham, and I can see now why this young man spent so much time in the minor leagues, really not going up the ladder, because he's resorting now to being more of a thrower than he is a pitcher, just kind of rearing back and letting the fastball loose. So far, through the first 2, it's worked, but now he's got something extra to think about here with Hamilton at first base. Dominated at Double-A, as you can see, 1.1 earned run average, and still a very good run at Triple-A with New Orleans.
Working from the stretch now and facing the leadoff man, Scott Schebler. Long hold to try to throw off Hamilton's timing, and time called. Billy, 31 steals and 41 attempts. We'll have to keep an eye on Schebler, who loves to swing at the first pitch. Way out of the zone, and Real Muto's going to go talk to his right-hander Jeff Brigham.
Double trouble right now. He's thinking about Hamilton at first base. He's trying to rush his delivery, but he's also had a compound problem of that front shoulder flying open from trying to throw too hard. So now you're trying to be fast and throw hard, and that's why he's so wild up and away. Don Mattingly has seen a lot of this out of his young starters. For the most part, we did show you the numbers where they've gotten a little bit better pitching wise. He feels like the strength of the organization right now is pitching. The next wave of young pitchers coming up are even better than the ones that they've got right now.
Juan Nieves, pitching coach. There goes Billy, and he'll have to go back. Two balls and a strike, so Hamilton will take his lead at first base as we check out our StatCast AI powered by AWS. Two balls and 2 strikes to Schebler. See what Hamilton has in store on a 2-2 pitch. He has the green light at all times in a throw over. He and Peraza are the two guys that are green lighted all the time. If they feel like they can get a good jump, there are situations, obviously, they're going to put a stop sign on. The game will dictate it, but in a situation like this, he has the green light if he wants it. There he goes. Throw down, head first slide into center field. Billy's on his way to third. And again, that speed will just make guys make mistakes just that little bit. And Hamilton ends up at third base.
The numbers favor Billy Hamilton in this matchup with Jeff Brigham, the pitcher. He's about 1.29, 1.32 to home, which means from the very first move he makes until the ball pops into the catcher's glove, it's 1 second, 0.32 is what I had on that last one right there. So that is something that Billy Hamilton can take advantage of. If pitchers are down around a point of 1.1, 1.05, which is very fast, Hamilton has a chance of getting thrown out, a good one of getting thrown out.
And he walked Schebler, and that is the fourth walk surrendered by Brigham. See if the Reds could take advantage. He walked 2 in the second, and both were stranded.
I think that was from Don Matt. I just stole their signs, Earl. I think that was a throw strike sign. I've seen it before. And when you don't pick it up, you'll hear it from the dugout.
Oh yeah.
And your shortstop and second baseman.
Here's Peraza, first and third, nobody out. Golden opportunity for the Reds here in inning number 3.
Of course, the infielders won't tell you to throw strikes. I mean, that's just too downright rude. What they'll say is, come on, challenge him now. Go right after him. And that's code for, I'm getting tired and bored out here.
See if Peraza can kickstart this Reds offense, which has struggled on this road trip. And particularly with the runners in scoring position. 2 for their last 60 on the road, and those 2 hits, neither one produced a run. September 2nd, their last road RBI hit. Peraza into right field. Will it be deep enough for Hamilton? Nope. Hamilton's going to bluff. 1 out.
Maybe with 1 out, you take a shot right there. But with nobody out and Joey Votto coming up, there's a lot better chance that Votto's going to hit one deep enough to get you in at the very least. That number we showed you about the RBIs, runners in scoring position average on the road. It's one reason why the Reds are almost 20 games under 500 when they get away from Cincinnati.
Yep. 29-48 record on the road.
Good pitch right there. Votto looking for something out over the plate he can drive a little bit. That was not the spot for him.
Strikeout victim swinging in the first. Muto wants it inside again, and the 0-1 pitch way up high. 1-1 to Votto. Swing and a miss. .339 clip. Runners in scoring position, third best in the National League. Check swing, appeal down to third, and Ben May rings up Votto.
And Votto just not picking the fastball up off of this young right-hander, and it got him the first time on 3 fastballs. This time he throws it up and out of the zone. Votto could not hold back.
And now it's up to Scooter Gennett. It's at first and third, and nobody out. Fly out, strike out. And Gennett will try it with 2 outs. Walked his first time up. 317 batter, came in trailing Christian Yelich for the National League batting title after that tremendous series Yelich had against the Reds. He checks in at 319 to start today's play. Trying to turn it back up. Last 5+ games, 2 for his last 14. In the air, hit well to left field. And Scooter, that one off the wall. This will score 1. Schebler's on his way to the plate. Scooter Gennett delivers a 2-out, 2 RBI double and a 2-0 Reds lead. Finally, the Reds break through.
Well,
on
to give
the
you
road.
an idea how well that ball was hit, back at home at Great American Ballpark, this baby's a 3-run home run, a no-doubter, because he hit that awfully hard. In fact, he's kind of eyeballing it right there, thinking that's got to be going out of here, right? That's destined for the Clevelander. But not in this ballpark. That's where long fly balls go to die. Austin Dean had no chance at all of catching that ball. You see the center fielder, Brinson, over there. He had a better shot at it, and it falls in, and the Reds punch onto the scoreboard first.
We talked about September 2nd, the last time they had a RBI hit with runners in scoring position. It was Scooter Gennett on that day. So RBIs 89 and 90 for Gennett.
What a year.
Yep. And the Reds would like to see this guy break out as well, riding an 0 for 15.
You know, this season is a long season, and he played so well, so hard for so long. I think he's just out of gas. His swing has a little bit of a loop in it now that it did not have early in the year. Front shoulder flying open a little bit, trying to generate bat speed that you just don't always have towards the end of September. And of course, you're playing on a ball club that does not have the team adrenaline of being in a pennant race.
Almost hit him. 2-2. Well, he's had some struggles in the field as well. And some balls that you think he would gobble up gets by him. Two-two pitch, hit hard into right field. They're going to wave around Gennett. Nope, they're going to hold him at the last minute. The catcher was waving him, then held him. It's a 2-out hit for Suarez, who snaps that 0 for 15.
Second time in this inning that they decided not to test the arm of the right fielder, Isaac Galloway. Ball hit very sharply. It got out to the right fielder very quickly, and Gennett's no burner. Turned out to be a good decision.
Really good throw.
He usually makes the right call, does Billy Hatcher?
Pretty good base runner in his own right in his day. And a meeting of the minds will be broken up. Corey Blazer will break it up. Juan Nieves, pitching coach for the Marlins. Seeking the big inning here. A little 2-out bingo going on.
Bringham's got to be getting about worn out there. He's had 25 pitches in this inning, and after walking the leadoff batter, you got to say that every one of those pitches have come under stress. The worst kind.
And he's been working from the stretch after walking the leadoff man Hamilton this entire inning.
That's a changeup right there. Not a lot of action on it, as you see, very straight. But he has a little bit of separation, about 8 miles of separation between the changeup and the fastball.
0-1 to Williams. .60 pitches overall now for Brigham. One ball and 2 strikes. There goes the runner from first into right field, and running it down is Galloway. Reds will strand 2, but they score 2. Middle of the third, 2-0 Reds. The Reds take on the Royals Wednesday the 26th. You can see it for half price. Plus you'll get same-day admission to the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Some restrictions apply. Cody Reed, a couple of scoreless innings and pitcher v. pitcher here. In the bottom of the third, Jeff Brigham has batted twice in his young career and 1 for 2. Had scored a run, so we got that monkey off his back. Wind up in the 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Tough job being a catcher. How many times we got to talk about it? And at this point of the season, you are major league beat up. Swing and a miss. Down goes Brigham. Third strikeout for Cody Reed. So 1 time through the lineup. So far, so good for Reed.
Yeah, it was tested a little bit there in the first inning when he gave up a couple of base hits, pitched out of the jam, and you know, it's kind of a continuation of the process that he has set the last couple of times out. All that's missing now, or has been, is some offensive support. But he's got a 2-run lead to protect right now.
And Reed, as we told you earlier this season, sporting some different goggles. He had the same goggles since he was a sophomore in high school. Finally changed it up. And that hit him.
Pretty amazing, really. They have the same goggles since high school. I mean, how much do you have left over in your life from your sophomore year in high school?
Well, my sophomore humor.
Very good. Just stop right there.
But he was a freshman, I think, as the story goes. His mom, it was when he was playing baseball when he was a freshman, and he was squinting to see the signs. He couldn't see the signs. They took him to the eye doctor, gave him some goggles, and he wore the same ones clear through high school, into pro ball, and into the major leagues. And it was the ones with that tag on the back. He'd have the strap back there.
You mean the Chris Sabo style?
Yeah. But one that hung down. He'd have the strap like Spuds did, but then it would hang down. And he's had many problems with those things fogging up, even these newer ones. Uses the old toothpaste remedy, though. Here's a base hit into left field. Hit batter and a single, first and second, one out for Real Muto.
Well, he went down swinging the first time, did Castro, on a breaking pitch, and this time he figures, I'm going to look for that slider, and he got one and finds a hole there between third and short. Now, the two of the better hitters on this ball club who are in the lineup tonight anyway, Real Muto and O'Brien, back-to-back right here with runners on base.
As you said, Chris, he was able to dance around a couple of base runners in the first, and will have to do so here in the third. Oh, 1.
You see the little recoil at the very end of his delivery. That's one of the, I think, the unfinished part of his pitching package, where he kind of finishes straight up sometimes, and I think that he'd be a little bit better served if he just get going towards home a little better.
5-4, not in time at first base.
Same thing Real Muto did his first time up, fielder's choice.
First one went 6-4. This one goes 5-4. First and third, 2 outs.
Sometimes when you finish standing up as a pitcher, you just don't get the extension that you do when you get your head way out over your, in his case, his right knee, kind of going in a direct line towards home. They're really, those pitchers that are, are putting up 200 innings a year and always in the Cy Young Award conversation, they do that more often than not. Side motion shot of Reed right there. Good balance over the rubber. Good long stride. Not too bad that time, but a little bit of a recoil, just a little bit.
Quickly had no balls and 2 strikes on O'Brien.
O'Brien jumped on a first pitch fastball, hasn't seen one yet in this at bat.
Swing and a miss, and Reed dances around trouble once again. you by O'Charlie's, home of Free Pie Wednesdays. By your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, now ranked number 2 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. South Beach, just like Chris Welsh likes it. He is big in these parts. Has been for years. Barnhart, Reed, Hamilton here in the fourth. He's got 2 in the third, and we're able to take advantage of some walks finally. As Brigham has walked 4 in the game, he walked 2 in the third. Both of those runners came in to score on Scooter Jeanette's 2 RBI double. Tucker's been in a skid as well, 1 for his last 18. You go down through this lineup outside of Peraza and Votto. A lot of guys struggling, and when you struggle all together, particularly those guys in the middle, although Jeanette broke out in the third, as did Suarez with the hit. Runs have been few and far between on this road trip.
Now, the last 7 days for Barnhart even worse than the previous. 067 batting average here over the last 7. Last 14, he's about 179. And maybe the length of this season taking a toll on Tucker as well. Especially when you're a catcher, you have some hot days and it can kind of snowball on you.
Yep. Well, it was 3 winnable games in Chicago. Reds were shut out 1-0. They lost 3-2. They won a game 2-1. But were shut out in Milwaukee twice. One game that they won in Milwaukee, the middle game of that 3-game set, it was a 3-1 victory. One and 2, the count to Cody Reed. Strike 3 called. Back-to-back punch-outs for Brigham here in the fourth.
Kind of interesting there with Real Muto behind the plate, calling a couple of breaking balls and that at bat against Cody Reed. Sometimes you use the opportunity of facing the opposing pitcher to work on pitches that you haven't really had good success on so far on the night. So they figure that the next time through the lineup for the Reds, it'll be the 3rd time that they've seen Brigham. He's going to have to break out that breaking pitch a little bit. And that's why they're using it as an opportunity against Cody Reed to kind of get the feel of it a little bit. Smart move by Real Muto.
That strikeout looking by Reed was the first strikeout non-swinging in this game. Six punch-outs for Brigham, 4 for Reed, and all but the strikeout of Reed have been swinging variety. Oh, 2 pitch. Center field, Brenson there. Let's go quietly in the fourth. 2-0 Reds.
He says he loves it here almost as much as he loves playing in San Francisco in the outfield.
It's a big field. That's why I love playing here. And like I said, it feels like everybody like separated from each other. Like the left fielder and the right fielder, we're like nowhere near each other. We like it's hard to even like just say what's up to you because you way over there and just. But it's a big field, and like I said, it's fun for me to be in center field because you got a lot of space to run.
Well, Jim and Chris, as you know, right below me is the Clevelander Bar, and it is very loud down here. And we're going to talk to Mason Williams after the game, because I remember Ryan Ludwig told me he hated playing here because he could not hear what was going on in the game. He couldn't hear the crack of the bat, nor could he hear the calls of the center fielder or the shortstop in close plays. Thumping music below us, so why don't you two take it for the rest of the night, and I'm going to go down here and enjoy myself.
Well, have one on us. Why not? I visited the Clevelander. It was an assignment that I reluctantly took. Nice play by Suarez, a spin and a throw to retire Austin Dean.
How about this for Jeff McQuarrie?
Just getting started is big.
There, big boy.
Yeah. Very nice. It is loud out there, like Pick is going to do. I did a report out there, and it, let's just say it's a little interesting. There might be more people in the Clevelander than the rest of the ballpark. Good spot, though. They used to have the opposing bullpen out there, and you can pretty much see right from the bullpen into the Clevelander. Speaking of big outfield, Hamilton going back. Hamilton has room. 2 outs.
Ball kept going and going on Hamilton right there, jumping off the bat of Lewis Brinson. He's a center fielder. He was kind of the king piece in that trade with the Milwaukee Brewers that sent Yelich the other way. And they've been waiting for him to kind of level on the ball a little bit more often than that. But you can see the enticing ball coming off of his bat there.
Well, Billy, you heard him talk about his left fielder and his right fielder are far apart from him. And we'll talk about this going forward. It should be out number 3. How about Cody Reed? Through 4. Scoreless baseball.
Years ago today that Jose Fernandez, the great Miami Marlin right-handed pitcher, pitched his last start for the Marlins. He pitched 8 shutout innings, allowed only 3 hits and striking out 12 against the Nationals. And it was 5 days after that start that he was killed in a tragic boat accident on a jetty down here in one of the Miami bays. Young man that was a Rookie of the Year in 2013. led the league in least number of hits per inning, per 9 innings in that season.
Schebler with a leadoff base hit here in the 5th.
And boy, Fernandez just taken from us way too young.
Of Cuban descent, and it was a major blow, obviously, to the Marlins organization, but this community as a whole. Fernandez was just a pillar in the community. So many of Cuban descent that are here in South Florida, and it just devastated Miami. Pitch to Jose Peraza. Peraza, a couple flyouts to right. Jose's hit safely in 12 of his last 14 games, coming in a 362 batter over that span. Schebler leaning, dancing, but holds up. This one into center. Brinson to his left. 1 out.
3 lazy fly balls in the night for Peraza.
Yeah. Freddie Benavidez will talk things over with Schebler. Talked to Schebler about batting leadoff, and he's got good speed, and could the next portion of his game be stealing more bases? Wasn't real hip to it. Said, I don't think I need to steal bases in this lineup. The guy's hitting behind me if I'm batting leadoff, but he's got enough speed to do it. He said, I think they would rather have me on base than not on base, but I think they'd rather have you on second base than first base. But we'll see as time goes on whether he becomes a base stealing threat.
Well, we haven't really seen too many stolen bases with Joey Votto at the plate. And that's a situation that you have right here. An 0-2 count. Votto still has not figured out the Brigham fastball.
Coming is Dean. 2 outs. Check out Brigham's reaction from this pitch.
Yeah, he throws an 0-2 fastball right there, and I think he probably wanted a strikeout. Had 2 previous strikeouts. It was ahead in the count, 0-2 right there. But hey, anytime you get Joey Votto out, it's cause for celebration.
Rushes Jeanette back off the plate. Brigham has a serious game face on that mound.
Well, he's a young man that was raised in Washington. Big Husky fan.
Yeah.
That's where the Los Angeles Dodgers picked him 4th in the draft when he was a junior there.
He used to sailgate at those games, didn't he? When I read that somewhere?
Yeah, that was an interesting read. I didn't follow up on that, but basically his family had a sailboat.
Yeah.
So instead of tailgating in the parking lot there, I guess there's a group of people that sail their boats into the dock, and
it's big time at the University of Washington.
I'm sure it
is.
is.
A lot of boats, yeah. Not tailgating, they sailgate. Parents and his brother also went to UW. You could dock it about a couple hundred yards from the stadium. 2-1 to Scooter. Hit sharply, backhanded by Castro. Red strand 1 here in the 5th. Middle of the 5th, 2-0 Cincinnati. again tonight.
He does indeed. That's become his go-to pitch. We showed you a stat earlier in the game where he's throwing more sliders than fastballs here recently. And that is true tonight. A lot of swings and misses on that pitch that has a deception of looking like a fastball coming out of his hand, coming in slower, about 10 miles an hour slower, and then diving right down towards the right-hander's back foot.
Check out our IGS bringing the energy. 25 of his last 29 strikeouts have come via that slider. A lot of first pitch strikes and ahead. No balls and 2 strikes on JT Riddle. Perfect example of the last 2 starts for Reed getting ahead of in the count as opposed to previous starts.
Well, he's always been very good against left-handers. That was the intriguing thing about Cody Reed. You're thinking, all right, well, you know, if he doesn't make it as a starter, he could be an excellent left-handed specialist out there. But at his young age, with his arm, you know, you want to test as much as you can and be patient to try to give him a chance. It's been a long time since the Reds have had a good left-handed starter in their rotation.
Two-two pitch. Talking to Reed yesterday, he said, listen, I think I've done everything I can do in the minor leagues. If I'm not in the rotation, I think I could be a solid bullpen guy. No secret he wants to be a starter, but he wants to do whatever he can to be on the big club. Swing and a miss. 5 of them now for Reed.
Riddle goes down chasing that slider, the former University of Kentucky Wildcat. And that'll be all for Brigham. They're going to pinch hit for him here in the 5th inning.
And they will send to the plate Christopher Bostic. Bostic, another one of those players that was acquired mid-season back on August 12th. Came from the Pirates in exchange for cash considerations.
And probably those cash considerations that the Pirates got for Bostic were way more than what he got from the Oakland Athletics when he was drafted in June of 2011. He was a 44th round draft pick. I mean, when you're drafted, you know, that low, you're negotiating between a plane ticket and a bus ticket. So congratulations to him making the major leagues. Made his debut with the Pirates last year. That was a pretty good changeup that Reed sports against the righty.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Reed, 6 of them.
Yeah, that's the 3rd pitch that you don't really get to use very much when you work out of the bullpen. And in Reed's case, when he was in the bullpen, short reliever, maybe an inning or 2 at a time, you know, you never want to get beaten on your 3rd best pitch, so you don't really use that changeup very much. But as a starter, it comes in handy, especially when they load up the lineup with a bunch of right-handers.
Raza running throw. 5 scoreless innings in his last start through 5 innings. 5 scoreless innings tonight for Reed.
20th of 1998. After MLB record 2,632 consecutive games, Cal Ripken takes himself out of the lineup for the first time in nearly 16 years. During one stretch of the streak, he played 8,243 consecutive innings. There were 5,045 trips to the DL by other players during Ripken's streak. And who could forget, seems like it was just a couple of weeks ago, or years ago, I should say, that Ripken made that trip around the stadiums, high-fiving all the fans. Man, 1998.
The ultimate Iron Man, Cal Ripken. This is a new pitcher for the Marlins, Eliezer Hernandez.
Picked up from Houston in the Rule 5 draft last December. When you're Marlins and you're rebuilding the way they are here, you're taking a shot at just about anybody you think that will offer you some long-term help.
Suarez is 2 for 3 here tonight. So a good sign.
Maybe a little extra motivation right here for Suarez. Eliezer Hernandez, also from Venezuela, same country as Eugenio Suarez.
And should feel pretty comfortable here. He's one of the, let's have a few guys that make their offseason home here in the Miami area. Suarez being one of them. Williams a fly out and a walk. Actually, it was more of a line drive his last time up. Hard hit ball to right. Hernandez has made 6 starts for Miami this season. Didn't go so well though. 0-5, 5.04 ERA. Slice to left. Dean towards the line. Went out. Barnhart. Just under the knees, 1-0 to the Reds catcher. Just foul. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the Hold True moment later in tonight's game. One and two. Galloway, easy play for him, and 2 outs. Back to first goes Suarez again. And here comes Cody Reed. Strikeout swinging, strikeout looking for Reed. Pitch in for a strike. first of 4 against the Marlins. 3 night games and a day game in this series. On the air for all 4s. We're on the air for every single Reds game. The first time here in 2018. And maybe a bit of a brain cramp so far for Hernandez. He's run the count to 3-1 to Reed. Full count. And he walks the opposing pitcher. And that'll give Billy Hamilton a chance. There's now 5 of them surrendered by Brigham and Hernandez combined.
You know, there are 4 different things that managers have to do. But in the case of a Marlins manager, the last few years especially, and you could say this maybe of a Reds manager, there were 5. One is to deal with the ownership, one is to deal with the players, one is to deal with the media. The 4th would be actually the strategy of the game, but the 5th, in the case of Don Mattingly, would be patience.
Oh yeah.
And when you see the young players that they have run out here over the last few years, of course it's been an exercise in futility, as the Marlins have scored very few runs this year. And they're running one young player and pitcher out there after another.
Patience is almost a dreaded word in our society in general.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
And I think also poker face.
Yeah.
Because no matter how you're turning over inside, you just can't show it.
And you got to do that in speaking to the media on a daily basis as well. Pick and choose your spots, perhaps, to have pointed comments.
You mean you can't go Herm Edwards on him?
Correct.
Daily.
You play to win the game. Grass cutter to third, and stepping on the bag is Rojas, and the Reds are retired in the 6th. 2-0 Reds. Through with a runner in scoring position in the 3rd. 2 outs. Scooter Gennett sends one the other way. It's a clutch 2-out, 2 RBI double for Gennett. RBIs 89 and 90 for Scooter. And Cody Reed has made that hold up. 5 innings, just 3 hits, no runs, no walks, which is key for Reed. And 6 strikeouts. He has thrown 60 pitches, and 43 of which have been strikes.
And this inning, of course, you get the bottom of the 6th, and you're down around the time that you'll face each of these batters for the 3rd time in the game. So this is one area where it's been a real bugaboo for Red starters for the most part, really with the exception recently of Luis Castillo. Everybody else has run into basically a buzzsaw 3rd time through the order, not only with the Reds, but around baseball.
Yeah, it's throughout the league. I mean, you talk to the guys that crunch the numbers, and it's pretty much across the board with the exception of those elite pitchers in the game. And you know who those are.
I did not know that you talk to the guys that crunch the numbers.
I do from time to time.
Good for you.
Thank you. But the numbers don't lie. The 3rd time through the lineup, I mean, this is why you're seeing a lot of quick hooks, not only with the Reds. Jim Riggleman's had a quick hook, but a lot of managers of baseball and bullpens are becoming a premium, and multi-inning guys in bullpens nowadays.
Professional hitter right there in Starlin Castro. I mean, guy's having a good year, as we mentioned earlier, and at age 28 years old, I mean, he's already got 9 years in the major leagues. He broke in with the Cubs when he was 20. Remember that debut that he had against the Reds at Great American Ballpark? What a night that was.
Reed was able to strand 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd. And retired 7 straight. 8 straight before that base hit by Castro, and here's a base hit by Real Muto. So the first 2 have reached.
Real Muto hit the last couple of pitches that he got in on the hands on the ground, had a fielder's choice each time. That was in on the hands, but he was able to elevate it over the head of the shortstop. Maybe just a little bit too high for the liking of Cody Reed. So 3rd time through the order, the bullpen phone has been ringing, and they've got some action.
David Hernandez is throwing in the Reds pen, and we've seen this act before where the catcher Barnhart will go out initially, buy some time, and then the pitching coach Danny Darwin will follow him.
Well, nowadays though, you can only buy 30 seconds max.
Well, you can buy that. 30-second clock doesn't start until the pitching coach comes out, though. They'll send that catcher out there first, and then they'll reset it.
Got it down to a science.
They do.
And Corey Blazer giving Danny Darwin a few extra seconds. Maybe he's heard of Darwin and his nickname.
Yeah. That nickname would be Dr. Death. Excuse me, Doctor? Time to go back to the dugout now. The batter's Peter O'Brien. Reed trying to hold on to a 2-0 lead here. Nobody out, 1st and 2nd.
Aggressive hitter here. He was anyway his first couple of times up. Watching this guy in batting practice, I mean, he was launching them everywhere. Just a ton of power.
Another guy came over for cash considerations June 1st of this year from the Dodgers. Could be 2. Suarez, Jeanette on to first. A much needed double play for Cody Reed. 5-4-3.
Really nice.
Just what the doctor ordered, if you will. And that would be Dr. Death. Go to work against Austin Dean. Try to get out of inning number 6. Another first pitch strike from Reed.
Now, Austin Dean just really up in the minor leagues this year. He was been the Marlins minor league player of the year this year. Batted .345, couple of different stops, 12 home runs. Came up through their organization, drafted out of high school in Texas, out of Spring, Texas.
Had his contract selected on August 15th. We talked earlier about his first major league hit was a home run that came on August 17th. One-two pitch. Do it again.
Well, all the minor league players of the year that the Marlins have will be announced and celebrated on Friday, on tomorrow's night. You know, they'll bring them all up here except for Dean.
Yeah.
He'll be recognized also, but he'll be wearing a Marlins uniform.
On the hands, and how about Cody Reed? A couple of singles to lead off the inning. He gets out of trouble. 6 scoreless innings from Reed. To your community by signing up for the Fall or Winter Series program. This program is a partnership between the Reds, USA Baseball, ABCA, and the Major League Baseball Players Association. For information, visit reds.com/academy. 2-0 Reds, top of the 7th. Top of the order for Cincinnati and Scott Schebler. In between innings, Cody Reed having a chat with Jim Riggleman, and I'm sure it's whether or not to stay in the game, but it looks like he's getting.
Yeah, you start getting handshakes and stuff like that, and you have that relaxed look on your face. So nice job by Reed. He went 5 innings of shutout ball last time, and now he's put together 6 innings of the same here tonight.
Been a while since he went this deep into a game as a starter. He's thrown only 71 pitches. So it's not a pitch count thing. It's
what is it?
More of a kind of hit a few hard balls there in the 6th.
Well, nobody who is due up next inning from the number 5 batter or 6 batter all the way down to number 9 has gotten a base hit off of him, or even been on base.
Right. We've been deked before, though.
Well,
they've stayed in the game.
I got to think the way what we're looking at down there is indication that he's coming out. But again, you know, how are you going to teach these guys to go deep into a game if you don't allow them to go deep into a game.
Mile high into right center field. Shepard nearly hit the roof.
Now, in the defense of Jim Riggleman, he's got the statistics to back him up. And they will show you that even your seventh inning reliever is better than your starter in the seventh inning, no matter who it is, statistically speaking. So he wants to win a ball game. He's up by 2, and wins are important, especially when you're an interim manager hoping to get an extension.
Well, the other thing is that David Hernandez has been the guy that's been warming up, and Riggleman has been very open that he likes to have him start a clean inning for whatever reason.
Managers always will say that.
Yeah.
And every pitcher would say, yeah, I'd love to start a clean inning. But, I mean.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think
I
am in agreement with you on. He has 72 pitches. Now, sure, he's seeking his first win as a starter. You want him to leave them out on a good note.
See,
it's
that
2-0.
doesn't make any difference. For me, that doesn't make any difference. I want to see the team win, but you don't even tell him anything. You say, but you tell your pitching coach, listen, have somebody ready to go down there. If he gets a runner on base, I'm taking him out of the game.
Yeah,
but
I agree
there's a chance that he could go through, 6, 7, and 8 in this inning without, even working up more of a sweat.
Yep.
But he did a great job. Let's congratulate him on that.
Hard hit base hit by Peraza. He's now hit safely in 13 of 15. Joey Votto has 1 on and 1 out. Line drive right to Galloway. 2 outs as we go back to Cincinnati. Brian Giesenslaw standing by with an update. Wow, I tell you what, the Yankees and the Red Sox this season, the American League East, it's been an unbelievable run. Really looking forward to these playoff matchups. You're going to have some good wild card games. And we're talking about a Yankees team that if they win tonight, it'll be their 94th win of the season.
Yeah, but have you ever seen a season where you have seen such a major difference between the haves and the have-nots?
No.
So, yeah, the playoffs will be fine, but they'll be very predictable with the same teams in there, with the exception of the Oakland A's. Got to love the run that they're making.
Brewers, first time since, I believe, 2011. Long drive to right off the bat of Scooter Gennett. Bye-bye.
Double-decker.
Upper deck shot by Scooter Gennett, number 23. And he's driven in all 4 of the Reds' runs tonight. His first home run since September 4th.
Boy, this was a no-doubter. I mean, pretty much center cut right there where Scooter would put it on a tee if he could. 91, lukewarm, belt high, bye-bye.
Suarez into right. That'll be out number 3, but Gennett does it again with 2 outs. Scooter. 4-0 Reds. Philadelphia Phillies take on Freddie Freeman and the division-leading Atlanta Braves, or the Cardinals look to extend their wild card lead as they host the Giants. Regional action starts Saturday at 12:30 on Fox, Fox Deportes, and the Fox Sports app. It is indeed a new pitcher for the Reds. Reed goes 6 scoreless, and now David Hernandez on here in the 7th.
He's been pretty dependable, Hernandez has. That nifty 2.6 earned run average, now 53 games for David.
Six, 7, and 8 due up here for Don Mattingly in the 7th. Final line on Reed: 5 innings, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, which is huge for him. He did hit a batter, but struck out 6. So back-to-back starts, or 6 innings, excuse me. Back-to-back starts of scoreless baseball and 11 scoreless innings. Reds could make this one hold up. It would be his first win as a starter for Reed, and it's been a long time coming if it happens. Three-one pitch. Full count. Payoff pitch, and he walked it. So Reed doesn't walk a single batter, and Hernandez walks the first guy he faces. And now the Marlins will send a pinch hitter up there. Rafael Ortega will hit for Isaac Galloway. Mattingly will go to his bench and go with the matchup, lefty against the righty Hernandez. First pitch to Ortega. 0-1. Hernandez ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Ortega, another Venezuelan product, 27 years of age, listed at 5'11", 160. Limited action in the big leagues. He had 2 appearances with Colorado back in 2012 and didn't make it back to the big leagues until 2016 with the Angels. Now in his 35th game for the Marlins. Reds have Amir Garrett cranking it up in the pen. Popped up. Barnhart off with the mask and runs out of room. 1-2 pitch. 2-2. He's got 2 in the third, 2 in the seventh. Both off the bat of Scooter Gennett. Could be 2, 6, 4, 3, and a double play.
Back-to-back innings here for the Reds defense. Turn 2 to get the pitcher part of the way out of the inning. Happened after back-to-back hits in the 6th. Got it going for the Marlins against Reed. He turned over a 5-4-3 double play, and Hernandez uses the ground ball to kill 2 right here.
The Marlins have grounded into a bunch of double plays. That is now 115 on the season. 4th most in the National League. Reds have grounded into a lot of double plays. They actually lead the National League in that category. One ball and a strike to JT Riddle. 0 for 2 here tonight. Suarez. And fair territory. 3 bat in the 7th. We've played 7. 4-0 Reds. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We will look forward to that comedy show after the game. Sammy the Cure and Geezer. Inning number 8. New pitcher on for the Marlins. It's Tehran Guerrero.
Hard thrower, not always where he wants it to go, but he can dial it up there in the triple digits.
Tall, lanky right-hander. And he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes on Mason Williams. Rafael Ortega remains in the game. He's in right field. Boca Chica, Colombia. Tehran Guerrero.
Now, interesting note about Guerrero, especially given the fact that Luis Castillo will be the starter for the Reds tomorrow. Guerrero was involved in the trade that sent Castillo and Guerrero to the San Diego Padres. Eventually, the Padres traded Castillo back to the Marlins because of an injury to Colin Ray. The pitcher was really the major league part of that deal. So the Marlins got Castillo back, but they ended up keeping Guerrero. So the Marlins were trading away two extremely hard throwers. I mean, Guerrero throws around 100. Castillo, we know that we have seen him throw consistently in the upper 90s.
The 2-2. Check swing. Appeal, no. Full count.
So I got it mixed up. He came from the Padres to the Marlins, and Castillo was going the other way. And as it turned out, they each actually both came back here. So you had Guerrero, who averages almost 99 miles per hour, third fastest in major leagues. "27 years old. It'll be Castillo's turn tomorrow."
Through the hole and into left field. Base hit, Mason Williams.
They finally got the ball down in the zone so Williams could kind of drop that bat head and go with it. What's been a problem for him with the fastball is when you get that guy running the ball up in the zone a little bit, see how you just drop the head on it and take a right and run. 97.
First hit of the night for Williams. Second time he's reached. Adding to his walk in the second. 99 on that fastball below the knees to Tucker Barnhart. Could be trouble. Double play. 4-6-3 it goes. Countdown to face-off for the Columbus Blue Jackets is underway as their season opener is October 4th against the Detroit Red Wings. They'll drop the puck for the first time in just 14 days right here in your home for Blue Jackets hockey, Fox Sports Ohio. Reds are going to send up a pinch hitter. It will be Gabby Guerrero. The bat with 2 outs. So Guerrero v. Guerrero. The Reds will have a new pitcher in the 8th. Right now it's Jared Hughes warming up. Kind of sets up perfectly for Jim Riggman. Hernandez worked the 7th, Hughes the 8th, and he hopes Iglesias the 9th. I mean, outside of a pitcher going the distance, if you're going to set it up for Jim Riggleman, it would be your starter going 6 scoreless, followed by Hernandez, Hughes, Iglesias. That's plan A.
Good formula.
Yeah. Two-0. Three and one. Guerrero v. Guerrero. The 3-1 pitch is fouled off.
You want to check that baby for dents.
Wow. I want to check Real Muto and see if he's okay. Easy play for Castro. Middle of the 8th. 4-0 Reds.
The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Start your weekend off with a bang. As always, Fireworks Fridays. Best in the business coming up on the 28th. Reds and Pirates, you can see it for as low as $12. Final fireworks show of the season. This one presented by Adams Recovery. For tickets, visit reds.com. On the banks of the Ohio. Nothing like Fireworks Fridays. Love to see you at the yard. Jared Hughes on for the Reds here in the 8th. Sierra showed bunt and fouled it off. First pitch for Hughes. And a line drive right to Votto. One out. And here comes Miguel Rojas. 1 for 2, hit by a pitch, singled to lead off the first. What was cut down as they've only given up 5 hits to the Marlins. Got 2 hits in the first, 1 in the third, 2 an inning ago. Four runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Reds. 0-5-1 for the Marlins. One pitch. 1-2. Do it again. Balls and 2 strikes. It's looking for a little payback. The Marlins took 2 of 3 at Great American Ballpark beginning of May. This is a 4-game set. Hardest to win, obviously. Rojas hanging tough. Count holds at 2-2. Marlins open this current homestand they're on with a 2-game split against Washington. And that was on the heels of a very rough road trip. 2-7 trip. And they had 3 postponements due to weather. Yikes. They'll finish on the road in Washington and a trip through Citi Field in New York.
Yeah, that was in Washington and Philadelphia where they had all that rain, the rain that came through Cincinnati, and of course the rain that came up with the hurricane. And to add insult to injury, or maybe salt to the wound, or whatever you want to call it, between the rainouts that they had on their last trip, plus another one that they had in Pittsburgh, they have a game scheduled for Monday, the day after the season ends, a week from Sunday, with the Pirates. I'm not sure if that game's going to be played or not. It's on the schedule, though, right now. So the reasons that you would play it would be perhaps for drafting reasons, you know, where you lie in the draft or in the waiver wire claims. The teams with the worst record claim ahead of those with better records. Of course, neither have playoff implications.
Rojas works a walk. Marlins trying to come off the mat here in the 8th.
And this is the part of the lineup that you figure that they can do it. There's not a lot of professional hitters in this lineup. Starling Castro is one. Real Muto coming up after Castro is another. And O'Brien, you know, has had limited time here in the major leagues, but he's got certainly the power to pop one out of here.
That is a heck of a chain around his neck. Goodness gracious.
You don't want to fall in the pool with that one on. Take that.
Back to the mound. Hughes thought about second, elects to go to first to get the sure out. 2 down.
And not hit hard enough to get 2. The question for Hughes was, is it safe to be able to get the runner at second base? And, you know, it looks like from that spot, yes. But normally you make your mind up before you field the ball. You have a little timer in your head going and you're thinking, all right, how far is that runner to second base? Because if you wait till you look and then make a decision, you're almost always going to be late. So he gets a sure out. Smart play.
Now the 3-batter, Real Muto. Look at, brushes him back off the plate. Real Muto here tonight, 1 for 3. Reached on a couple of fielders' choices, singled in the 6th. One and one. Trouble down the left field line. This will put the Marlins on the board. Realmuto on his way to second base. It's a 4-1 game.
Got the pitch up, and you know the one thing about Jared Hughes, he just has to live down in the zone, and up for him is only a couple inches above the knee. And that was about thigh high, and a good hitter in Realmuto just rips it down the left field line. I think that runner would have scored from first base, so the fact that he was on second has no bearing on the scoring. Then the Reds still have a 3-run cushion.
Reds do have Iglesias warming up at the pin. Barnhart will go out with a quick jab to Hughes. 2 outs, runner on second base. Reds bidding for a win in game 1 of this 4-game set. This is one of only 3 games in the National League. Very light schedule on this Thursday. And here comes Jim Riggleman, and that is going to be it for Jared Hughes. He's not going to mess around here. Or is it? He had the slow walk out there as if he was going to. Iglesias, you saw him going towards the door. They held him up. He thought he was coming into the game. Now he makes the call to the pin. And here comes Rassell. Hughes will leave. 2 outs. Here into the bottom of the 8th. It's our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen.
Fast lane there.
They have a quick pace down here. And here's Raisel Iglesias, who makes his offseason home in the area. Called upon. 2 outs into the 8th. 1 run in, runner on second base. Peter O'Brien at the plate. Finally set for pitch number 1, and it's outside. It's 28 saves. It's all time for a career high. It's tied for 5th in the National League in saves. Saves in each of his last 3 appearances since a blown save back on August 21st. Converted each of his last 5 chances. Nine saves of more than 1 inning this year. Through the hole into right field. They're going to wave around the runner from second base, and the Marlins have cut the lead in half here in the 8th. Good piece of hitting by O'Brien.
Now O'Brien, 27 years old, getting a long look right here though, because he's got kind of intriguing power. Doesn't show it right here. Actually shows a little pretty good batsmanship, taking that ball into right field with a couple out and a runner in scoring position. Probably telling Joey Votto, that's the way you do it, right, Joey?
Yep. Both of those runs will be charged to Hughes. And now the tying run will come to the plate in the form of Austin Dean. Or is this?
Derek Dietrich.
Yeah. Third lefty off the bench for Don Mattingly, Derek Dietrich. .265 batter this season, 16 home runs and 45 RBIs, and he's going to get some new lumber. Six years in the bigs, all with Miami for Dietrich. 29 years of age, from Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, with the St. Ignatius to Derek Dietrich.
Votto in foul ground. And a souvenir.
Yeah, flipping it up there.
Very nice. No psych job this time.
Yeah, this is, I think, the location Miami is anyway, where the tradition of throwing balls into the stands and giving them away to fans originated. It used to be that, you know, you'd hold those balls and put them in a bag and use them in your batting practice.
Yeah.
Maybe if we have time next inning, I'll tell you the whole story.
Well, didn't Mark Schott used to charge players if they threw a ball into the stands?
Well, they did
at one
with
point?
the Padres. I got charged $5 one day.
You did?
Yeah.
Gets past Barnhart, and moving up to second base is O'Brien.
Didn't have to pay it, but there was a little pink slip on my stool. This is back when, how long ago it was. We actually had stools in front of our lockers instead of comfortable chairs. But yeah, he wanted that ball up, and Iglesias said, no, I think I'll throw it down.
Wow. Major cross up. Pitch.
So anyways, I remember it was Doug Rader who was the original hitting coach here for the Marlins back in the early 90s, like 92. And there were a bunch of kids down there wanting baseballs after batting practice, and Wayne Huizinga, the owner, was there. And Rader shushed them all away, said, no, kids, we got to keep those balls. And Huizinga called Doug Rader over and said, why aren't you giving them the baseballs? He said, because we got to need them for batting practice. He says, you give him the baseballs, because if I can give a kid a baseball at 12 years old, he'll be a Marlins fan for life.
Nice. So the story goes. Reds hold on to a 2-run lead. Scooter in the 7th. His 23rd, a 2-run shot. This following a 2 RBI double in the 3rd. He's driven all 4 runs for the Reds, both with 2 outs. And the batting title race, Brewers don't play today. And look at this. We've got to spread this out to 6 digits. What a battle. Scooter just, and I mean just behind Christian Yelich for the National League batting title. Scooter 2 for 3 here tonight. And a walk, 4 RBIs. Reds would like to play add-on here in the 9th. Hamilton, Schebler, Peraza, and they will face a new pitcher, right-hander Brett Graves. th appearance for Graves. Opponent's hitting just under 300. Billy first pitch swinging. And that's a base hit. His first hit of the night. And second time he's reached, he walked in the 3rd and stole 2nd, forced a bad throw, ended up at 3rd and scored. So we'll see if Hamilton is off and running.
And we'll also see if Brett Graves is up to holding a runner on and how quick he can be to the plate. First pitch fastball kind of served me up, get ahead, and Hamilton puts a good part of the bat on it.
Top of the order, Scott Schebler. Like Hamilton, he walked in the 3rd and scored. Singled in the 5th. Wide out to center last time up. Schebler back to that mouthpiece action. And he will give it a workout. Foot lead. 2-0 to Schebler.
11-foot lead and about a 1.3 time to the plate for Graves. That's a combination right there. Maybe with another few inches of lead there by Billy Hamilton, it really favors the Reds if he wants to go.
3 balls and no strikes.
And Graves has Billy on his mind.
out of play. 3-1. The steal for Hamilton is 32nd of the season earlier in this game, and 42 attempts. Tapper in front of the plate, fair ball, throw down to second, and Schebler took his time. He thought that was a foul ball and was late getting out of the box, and right now pays the price for it.
You know, that's the one part of the field that does not have a line on it. Right there where the batter's box stops and the plate starts, and this is where that ball ends up going, and it's got to be an eyeball job by the home plate umpire, and you can see how the home plate umpire Corey Blazer got right down as good a position as you can get to judge whether that was fair or foul. We'll get a good look at it from this angle, but there's no line right here, and that's the one area of the field that is not lined. Fundamental umpiring there by Blazer.
Yeah.
Good job.
He was in good position to make the call. 2 outs now for Peraza. Batting average sitting at 290, exactly where he came into this game. Floater. O'Brien giving chase and makes a nice over-the-shoulder basket catch. Reds will take a 2-run lead to the bottom of the 9th. Minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Toyota, for over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. We get you ready before each and every game. Reds Live, the pregame edition, as always brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. First look at the lineups, interviews, tech talk with Christopher Welsh, and so much more. Night game tomorrow as Iglesias goes to work with a 2-run lead here in the 9th. 6:30 for Reds Live tomorrow. Castillo go to the hill for the Reds, but they hope, looking for their 2nd straight win if Iglesias had closed things down here in the 9th. 0-2 is Lewis Brenson. Popped up. Barnhart. Wow. Luis Castillo, the former Marlin, will pitch against his former club, and you know he'll be jacked up for that. 1.46 ERA this month, 3rd best in the National League. He's got 10 wins on the season, so in double digits. Looking for win number 11 tomorrow night. Rafael Ortega rounded into a 6-4-3 double play in the 7th. Pitch. Iglesias a pitch away from bringing the tying run to the plate. And he walked him. A 4-pitch walk. Join the Reds for Fan Appreciation Day. It's presented by Ace Hardware. Special prizes from Frisch's, Montgomery Inn, La Rosa's, Dunkin' Donuts, and many more. Going to be given away throughout the game to lucky fans. Reds and Pirates, you can see it for as low as $12. Visit Reds.com for tickets, postcard entries. Also accepted. The batter is J.T. Riddle. He represents the tying run.
University of Kentucky Wildcat. 13th round pick by the Marlins, 2013. Young man went to Western Hills High School in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Frankfort. Good people down there in Frankfort. Good Reds country.
I was telling a story to somebody behind home plate here. I said, you know, Riddle is from Kentucky, went to the University of Kentucky. I said, you know, how do you pronounce the capital of Kentucky? Louisville or Louisville?
I've gotten caught in that trap.
And they did too.
In fact, years ago, I did a caravan stop there, and they said, it's Louisville, not Louisville.
Actually, the answer is Frankfurt.
I know what you're saying. I understand that.
Well, I thought you were going to jump right into it for me.
I know.
And that's what partners are for, right? Get you over and over again on the same joke. Thank you very much.
I kind of went past the joke. I knew what you were getting at.
You have just made my day, Joe.
I jumped on the pronunciation of Louisville. I understand. I fell right into that. I'll just be quiet. That's foul ball. Kill me.
That would be Jim Make My Day.
Oh, I've never heard any puns on my last name. That's a new one. Wow. It's terrible. Iglesias ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.T. Riddle. And Riddle be this. Nasty pitch. 2 outs. Marlins down to their final out, and they're going to send Brian Anderson to the plate. Anderson's had quite the rookie season. Leads all major league rookies in games, at bats, runs, average with runners in scoring position. Big situation here. 2 outs. He's the tying run. 1-1 pitch. Just below the knees, 2 balls and a strike. Two and two. Full count.
And every time he's missed with a slider, he's come back with a fastball on the next pitch. And Anderson knows that. So does Iglesias. This time going to twist it up a little bit with back-to-back sliders. He did not chase.
And he walked him. The tying run will be at first base. Second walk surrendered by Iglesias here in the 9th. And here comes Danny Darwin to the phone.
Interesting to be on the phone right there with your closer on the mound in the 9th inning.
And the call was to Sal Romano. As he quickly starts to throw. Marlins not going away without a little noise. And first pitch swinging, diving, stopped by Jeanette. What a play to end this one. Scooter Jeanette drives in all 4 runs and puts an exclamation point on his night with a defensive gem to retire the Marlins in the 9th.
As good as it gets right here, especially the timing. Under pressure, a shot, but a diving stab by Jeanette, and that is all she wrote. What a great defensive play. That's like a walk-off defensive play.
Whew. And it helps the Reds hold on and take game 1 of this 4-game set here in South Florida. Iglesias says, thank you so much. What a night for Jeanette, and what a night for the Reds. Scooter Jeanette will talk to Jeff Pecoro on the field. Reds Live post game is on deck here on the home of the Reds, Fox Sports Ohio.